Why meditation can be a key to your health. Hi guys, I'm Dr. Rezaie, and today I want to talk to you about how meditation can be a key to your health, why so many people talk about it, why some people are scared of it, and ways to implement it into your daily routine so that you can get the most out of it. So, what's the deal with meditation? You're talking about it all over the place. Is it Eastern philosophy coming into like Western society? It's really something that you should be doing day in, day out, and how you do it is really up to you. But the effects and the benefits are, at this point with all the research that's done, it's non-negotiable, the fact that it needs to be implemented into your daily life, okay? And you can do this so many different ways. So again, what we want to talk about too is, you know, that major change. People think, oh, from a busy life, I've never meditated, to all of a sudden, I have to meditate for 3 hours every day. No, we're not. What we talk about here are microdoses of major changes. So let's get into the meditation. So meditation, what this is going to allow you to do, it actually allows you to get into your brain waves. So your brain of your nervous system, it then will reflect brain waves that ultimately are telling you that you're at certain states. When you are in certain states, certain things are more capable for you. And so probably while you're watching this video, some of you might be in beta brainwaves, which is our common day in, day out brainwave frequencies that you're doing work, kind of getting things done. These are the things that, you know, allow us to do task processing, all that other stuff. And then some of you might be in alpha brainwaves. You're a little bit more relaxed watching this video. And so this is actually dropping the frequency of your brainwaves down. And so the erratic behavior of the brainwaves are going down a little bit as well. And so this allows you to then absorb things a little bit better, especially into your subconscious, unconscious. And if you become really good, then we start getting into theta, which is an even lower. This is like the ultimate that you want to do with meditation, because in here, this is where you start tapping into your intuition. This is when you can get into problem solving, like when answers kind of just come to you because you relax so much. And then at the bottom, we'll really talk about delta waves, and this is really going to go into sleeping. So you're pretty groggy in theta, and then if you're going all the way to delta, I mean, you should be asleep at some point. So, and above beta, just talk about is gamma. And so gamma is another, it's like the high level like brain waves. And so what they've really seen this is the people who are like, you know, long-term meditators. They see this in athletes. You will see a lot of times when you go to self-help or, you know, performance seminars, whoever's leading it is always like trying to get people like jumped up and be active, because they're trying to get your brain waves up, because this actually allows you to assimilate. When you're in gamma brain waves, you actually can assimilate information the fastest, and they've actually shown with the athletes and everything, this is when you're able to process like actually the most information, actually take it in and like figure out, you know, what's going in, what's going on, like, and so everything has to do with breath at some point. Like that's faster breath work if you really pay attention to it. And so for gamma, you want to create a little bit faster breath work. It takes the frequency, not just of like your brain waves up, but then like you're influencing the heart, which is also going to take brain waves up. And so it becomes really important to understand that gamma is like, you know, this is like high performing. Beta is what we do in our day-to-day. Again, you don't want to stay in gamma either, because that's what can lead to like anxiety. I believe they used to think this was like high beta waves, but like they know that these are gamma waves, which is going to be 30 to 100 hertz. And so too long in this state, you know, you go to anxiety. That's why you don't ever want to stay in any of these states. This is where you need to understand, like every state has its purpose. You need to start using them appropriately, but meditation can allow that to happen. Again, so day in, day out, we're in the beta. If you really want to kind of like take something in, then you want to go to alpha, and if you really want to get into your like intuition, problem solving, different things, like that's with theta. So with the theta, you know, there were stories about, I believe it was Benjamin Franklin, and what he used to do is sleep on with his feet like on a metal plate, and he would hold like a metal ball. And so as he was meditating or drifting off, the metal ball he would drop it, hit the plate, ding, wake him up in his theta state. So this is he was having his brainstorming. There was a lot of ideas and different things coming into him to do that. So one of the easiest things is, again, just breath work. Breath work what it does is it gives you something to focus on. One, make it super easy. It lets you get into your body, and then it lets your mind start to calm down, because we really want the activity of the brain to come down out of the beta waves into alpha. Now, most people struggle with this. I don't know how many times clients I've worked with in different things, or people talk about meditation. They're like, I just can't get my mind to shut down. And the other thing is that like some people are addicted to certain brain waves. Like people like being in beta. Some people get addicted to being in gamma. And then some people also like the alpha and theta. Like it's not good to be in any of these. They're cycles. They're meant to be cycles. That's when we sleep. We kind of go beta, alpha, theta, delta, and then you're kind of coming out into theta, maybe back and forth a little bit. But ultimately, you have to come into alpha and beta, so we can be awake and be alive and be functioning in the world. And then high achieving, you go into gamma. And so again, it's like a shift, right? So think about not a standard car that you're going to shift gears first, second, third, fourth, fifth. We don't ever want to stay in one gear for super long. You can once you've practiced and you learn how to maintain that, but at some point we want to get off of that to take the RPMs off of the car. But this is the same with your brain. You don't want to be in that state for too long. So with breath, sit somewhere, start small. Even honestly, a minute or two a day is really what's going to be best for doing this breath work, to work on meditation, to allow it to get your mind to calm down. Now, most people do this, whether they realize it or not, they do it with like watching TV. And so at night when they want to fall asleep, like when they're in the beta, they start watching TV. It's very mindless for the most part. You start getting into alpha, and then you'll eventually go into theta and delta. Now the problem with this is what most people don't realize is you're absorbing whatever you're watching in alpha. So even though you think, hey, maybe it's not a big deal, but it matters what you watch. Because as you start going through these states of the beta to the alpha and then to the theta, especially as you shift in that alpha, you are ultimately absorbing and soaking in everything. And so this can become problematic depending on what you're watching. And so screen time is not always the best thing. This is where sometimes reading actually is then become the best thing. Maybe it's in audio, but again, we want to make sure like what we're listening to. Some people, and research has been done about doing sci-fi at night, because then it does the creative part of our brain, so that like when we actually go to sleep, then you have all this creative thinking, because you're actually doing a lot of processing in the deltas too. Don't be fooled. A lot of things that we're learning that assimilations actually happen in the brain is during delta, during sleep. Okay, but I'm just trying to help you learn how to use beta, alpha, and theta brainwaves with the meditation, because that's what it's ultimately doing. And you want to do this every day. And when you get really good at this is like when you can start just plugging into whatever zone you want within a matter of like seconds to minutes, depending on how good you get. And that's why doing micro doses of this major change of meditation is a major change, but micro doses. And so start out with a minute or two. Don't try to do big sessions every couple of like once a week or every couple weeks. Like we want to do smaller sessions every day. And so it's very helpful to do it at the beginning of the day, end of the day, and then sometimes in the middle of the day when you need to maybe like reset or calm down or do things. Like this is very helpful. So, and that's where like staying in beta, where most people are at work, you just do beta, 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 and then you just start getting into like, if you're doing high performance stuff in the gamma, then like all of a sudden you get into that anxiety and this lead to ADD, ADHD, all those other things. And so this is where it sometimes helps to get up and go for a walk and get up and move and change it, or sit still, stop everything, let yourself calm down, and then come back into it. Sometimes that's why people get solutions. When you're in the beta all the time, you're not solving things or kind of processing. And so that's where the meditation allows you to go deep. You can have an answer come to you, and then you kind of move forward. And so these are things that are very helpful for your health. And then with the breathing, if you do the breathing right, as we're taking bigger and deeper breaths that we talk about, you're nourishing your body with oxygen. All right, most of us are shallow breathers. A lot of times when you tend to be in beta, you tend to be shallow breathing. Alpha, you definitely want to take deeper breaths. This allows it to happen in the deepest breaths into theta. And then with your gamma, we're almost doing like a forced kind of hyperventilation, which again has its benefits. You're going to release adrenaline and cortisol, and then you're also just assimilating just so much information so much faster. But again, the breath is then showing you kind of where we're going. And usually when you sleep, you have like the slowest breath, most shallowest breath, and that's also when you're in delta. So it's very interesting how the breath is then influencing the brain waves. I haven't seen great research kind of showing that, but my experience has been that that's what ends up creating it and happening. And so, more people who are able to kind of do that, then you understand that, wow, with breath, I can then control my brain waves, which is allowing this meditative state to happen, and then I can achieve different things in those different states. So every day, do some meditation. Start with a minute or two. Don't worry if it's not good the first day, the second day. Look for the days where you're like, oh my gosh, it finally happened. And then you want to string like 2 days in a row where it happens, and then 3 until you get to like 5, 7. And then eventually you build up that muscle ultimately of how to meditate, how to do it quickly. And then you start doing it. It doesn't matter if people are around you. You don't want to need a quiet space. You can do it wherever you want, whenever you need to. So meditation, super helpful. I highly recommend adding it in. Breathwork is just one way to do it. There's a lot of different ways. So find what works best for you and then add this into your daily routine. All right? Hope you guys have a good one. Subscribe down below, YouTube channel. We have a podcast, newsletter. Check out our website. If you want more information, please comment and let us know how we can bring better and more information to you. All right, have a good one.